Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Today I will talk about two important issues, the record-breaking heat wave and drought in China, as well as the power shortage induced by it. I will show you a lot of first-hand videos and photos from China. Then I will talk about the bank runs in Beijing and the related medical fund crisis in China. So make sure you stick around till the end. Record-breaking heat waves, droughts, and electricity shortage have been hitting China hard in recent times. Let's check out some short videos and photos first. This video shows that the ground was so hot that it actually smoked. This video shows that the ground was so hot that it could actually pop popcorn. This is a map of high temperature areas in China from June 1st to August 15. For over 2 months, hundreds of Chinese cities have seen temperature about 40 degrees Celsius or over 104 degrees Fahrenheit. 66 rivers have dried up, and water levels in part of the Yangtze River Basin have fallen to their lowest in 157 years. The CCP officials say this year is the hottest since complete weather records were kept in 1961. But that's not the case. The international science magazine New Scientist reported on August 23rd that the heat in China was the worst in human history. And in Chongqing City, the temperature was as high as 45 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit. We can say that in China, China is experiencing the worst heat wave ever recorded in the global history. The combined intensity, duration, scale, and impact of this heat wave are unlike anything humans have ever recorded. Over 260 locations have seen their hottest days ever during this 30-plus day heat wave. And perhaps because of the extremely hot temperature, mountain fires broke out in many areas in Chongqing City in southwest China. This video was sped up and in 2 times speed to save time. So these are mountain fires in different districts in Chongqing City. And the fire is still burning today. So this is in Chongqing City, Sichuan province, in southwest China. Another terrible thing is the 2 most important rivers in China, as well as many lakes, are drying out. Watch this.
现在是在天安门嘉陵江大桥下，看看这个 江面的河滩呢，全部都裸露出来了。重庆最近是连续40几度的高温，把嘉陵江都晒干了。也不知道是地球出了轨，是吧？还是太阳劈了水，江都干了。
I guess he had never seen anything like this in his whole life. So this is Jialing River in Chongqing City. It's one of the biggest cities in China. So we just saw how the Jialing River runs dry in the video, and this is a picture of the same river in normal years. And this is a map showing the Yellow and Yangtze River in China. These two great rivers have nurtured the Chinese people for thousands of years and are the birthplace of Chinese civilization. But now, they are drying up. These are two pictures of the famous Leshan Giant Buddha in Sichuan province in southwest China. You can see how the water level has dropped terribly this year by comparing the photo on the left and to the one on the right. And these are two pictures of a Guanyin temple built in the middle of the Yangtze River at the section in Hubei province. Again, you can see how the water level has dropped terribly this year. And this is a picture of the Yangtze River too at the Wuhan section. Again, you can see the river is drying up. And this is Boyang Lake in Jiangxi province in southwest China. You can see the lake has also almost dried up. Please note that Boyang Lake is the largest freshwater lake in China, and there are many national and provincial natural reserve areas here. But now the lake is like this. These posts on Chinese social media platforms talk about how many people in their cities died of heat stroke. For example, one person says that in one hospital in Dazhou City in Sichuan province, more than 10 elderly people have died because of the overheat. Another person from a very small town says 7 people have died in his or her town. And the top post from Shandong province says that the local temperature has been as high as 45 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 consecutive days. The post in the middle from Chongqing City says that the 2 funeral homes in the main city are too busy to handle all the bodies. This person didn't say how many people died, but the fact is, funeral homes are overwhelmed. And to seek shelter from the heat, people are hiding in the underground air raid shelters built in Mao Zedong's time or staying on the river. Let's watch a short video.
要矿泉水嘞，花生瓜子8毛粥。
So this woman is just trying to sell some stuff in this shelter, saying maybe spring water, bottled water, peanut, 出境, what do you want? That sort of thing. So this is in Dazhou City in Sichuan province in southwest China. People are hiding in the underground facilities to try to find some shelter from the heat. And these are people actually staying on top of the river, also to seek some maybe cool air. This again is in Dazhou County in Dazhou City in Sichuan province. people seeking refuge in these underground facilities built in Mao Zedong's time. And also because in Sichuan province, people rely heavily on hydroelectricity. If rivers are drying up, it means there is little or no electricity. Many factories are closed and even lights in the subway underground parking lots and the residential and commercial buildings are turned off. Let's watch a short video that looks like a horror movie. Well, this is a luxury train in Chongqing City with lights turned out. And this is a photo from an underground parking lot in Chongqing City. No regular lights on, only green color indicator lights to give you some idea of where to go. This one is from a subway in Chongqing City. Again, no regular lights and only a red color sign to make the atmosphere terrifying and strange. This photo was taken in Shanghai because Shanghai's electricity was partially, transferred or transmitted from Sichuan province. So while almost all buildings are dark, the CCP symbol must be lit up to show how great, how correct, and how glorious the party always is. This post is by an upset woman showing that her chickens have all died because of the heat. She had no electricity to cool her farm, so all the chickens died. The most ridiculous thing is, although the temperature is high enough to kill people, the zero COVID policy must still be carried out. Let's watch a very short video. Imagine lining up in 113-degree temperature for a meaningless COVID test. Someone sent me these two photos and suggested that I put them together. The left one was from 1973. Children were fleeing the smoke of war. This photo won a Pulitzer Prize that year. The right one is from Chongqing City. While smoke from the mountain fire can still be seen, COVID testing must be carried on, no matter what. So out of the two photos, which one is more tragic? I guess it is really hard to say, but I think both of them should go down in history to let our future generations know what kind of absurdity mankind has experienced in this and the last century. As a matter of fact, in Chongqing City, everyone's health code was turned orange after 19 new COVID cases were found on August 23rd. The authorities said that they would adjust everyone's health code after the first round of mass testing was done. So over 10 million people had to line up in the extremely hot weather to do the testing. And this post says that a taxi driver was found dead in his car. The reason was his home was in an area where everybody's health code would be turned yellow automatically once you were there. So he dared not go back home after he drove a customer somewhere else. He stayed in his car for many days to save money. He didn't use the air conditioner when he was not driving or with a customer. As a result, he died from overheating inside his car. So how will this record-breaking heat wave and drought affect China's economy this year? I guess at this stage, nobody can give out a precise prediction. Hang Seng Bank estimates that last year's power curbs cut China's GDP growth rate by about 0.6%. And this year, the problem is more serious, and the GDP cut will be about 1.5%. Hang Seng Bank's current forecast for China's GDP growth rate this year is 4%, and if the problem of power cuts is not solved, GDP growth will probably fall below 3%. As far as I can see, this prediction is too optimistic. It only takes into account the power cut factor, but no other factors such as crop yield reduction, COVID control, and impact on river transport due to the drying up of rivers, etc. Then next, I'd like to briefly talk about another important issue that might have been overlooked by the so-called mainstream media. Let's watch a video first.
是啊，
So these are all the branches of different Bank of Beijing in Beijing City. People are lining up to try to withdraw their money from their personal account. Because after September 1, they were not allowed to withdraw the money. So that was yeah, this one was on August 23rd. That was just 2 days ago. In one of the branches of Bank of Beijing. Well, you might have read from the title in the video. This happened because people were not allowed to withdraw money from their so-called personal medical insurance account due to new regulation. And the new regulation issued by Beijing Medical Insurance Bureau says that starting September 1st, Beijing City will reduce the share of medical insurance funds deposited into the personal accounts of urban workers. The new rules will also no longer allow participants in the scheme to withdraw funds from their personal accounts. The funds should only be used to pay for certain medical costs in line with the regulations of the Bureau, etc. The current system works this way. Employers are required to pay a certain amount of funds into the so-called medical insurance system, which is run by the government and covers about 96% of China's population. Employees also need to pay into this account. In the urban workers scheme, funds are deposited into participants' personal accounts and pooled into connective accounts managed by local medical insurance authorities. The connective accounts are used to reimburse medical costs of all local participants in the scheme, while the personal accounts are designed to pay for personal medical costs. So before September 1st, people are still allowed to withdraw funds that have been allocated into their personal accounts. After September 1st, no more withdrawals are allowed. In the past 3 years, because of the zero-COVID policy and the so-called routine mass testing, how much money has been spent? Suppose everyone in China's big cities has to do a test once every 48 hours, and the price for one test is only 3.2 yuan. The total cost for 500 million people living in big cities will be 294 billion yuan. Remember, this is only for 500 million people in the big cities. Then how many funds are there in the collective medical insurance accounts in China? I have checked the numbers. For 1.364 billion people who are in the scheme, the total income in 2021 is 1.8968 trillion yuan. Total spending is 1.4863 trillion yuan. So the balance is about 822 billion yuan. But this is for 1.364 billion people. If we convert it to 500 million people, the new balance will be 305 billion yuan. And the COVID testing could have cost 294 billion yuan. So this is a very rough calculation of myself using the CCP's official numbers, and I have no idea whether the COVID testing spending has already been included in the total spending. However, I believe this kind of rough calculation at least gives us a basic idea of how much the mass testing must have eaten up China's medical insurance fund. A while ago, the CCP's State Council already ordered that COVID testing should not be paid for by medical insurance funds. So my conclusion is the new regulation in Beijing has much to do with the lack of funds, and that's why people panicked and ran to the banks. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please spread my channel and videos or go to my website and jenniferzengblog.com to sign up for a membership or make a donation to show your support. Finally, a Shenyun creation video I do hope